Hello, it's Emma from Balance Fulfillment, and today I'm going to talk a little bit about imposter syndrome. It's something that shows up in our workplaces and it stops us doing the best job that we can do because maybe our confidence or our self-belief isn't what it could be. So let's really think about what imposter syndrome is, how it affects us, what it looks like in practice, and some little things that we can do to make ourselves feel a little bit more confident and able to do the job that we are there to do. So I'm going to start with showing this video. This is a Tony Robbins approach, and I think it's really great for summing up why we don't always succeed in the way that we could.
Let's get into an issue that I think hinders a lot of people on their road to success, getting the momentum.
Yes, can I show the little graphic here for a second? So this is so simple, and I think you all find it useful. Can I just ask all of you, what do you think the potential is for any human being to live the life they want? What would you say? Okay, two people said unlimited, everybody else is quiet. How many of you agree it's really unlimited? Potential, at least. If you do, give me yes. Yeah. So if our potential is unlimited, the question is, do most people's results in life reflect their true potential? Would you say yes or no? No. Absolutely not. Why not? You tell me. Well, a lot of people say because they don't take action. I kind of led you with this, right?
Yes.
But you could be a salesman and you can knock on 100 doors and say, you don't want to buy anything from me, would you? You may not say that verbally, but your fear, your emotion could do that. Somebody's going to buy from you out of pity. So a lot of action's helpful, but if you're not certain it's going to work, you won't execute. That's when people say, I tried that. And whenever you say I've tried that, I know they didn't do the right thing. So I created this graphic, and you might want to jot it down, those of you at home or yourself. These 4 words: potential, action, results, and then belief or certainty. And here's how they work in a circle. Our potential's amazing, but if you don't believe something's going to work, if you've tried to lose weight before and you tried a diet and it didn't work out well, you don't feel certain anymore, and you're also fearful of failing. So when you're uncertain, do you tap full potential, yes or no? No, and when you don't think it's going to work, you not only don't take full potential, but are you going to take massive action when you think it's not going to work anyway? So when you use little potential with little action, what kind of results are you going to get? Lousy results. When you get lousy results, what does it do to your belief? Your brain goes, see, I told you it wouldn't work. See, I told you nothing never happened. See? And then what happens? Less potential's tapped, less action, worse results, and now you're on the downward spiral. Who's ever been there in a relationship or with your body, your finances, you know what I mean? Yeah. Now, you might be doing well in one area, like with your kids. You get great movement, but maybe on your finances, not so good. So sometimes we're going in different directions. So how would you change this? What would you guys do? Someone yell it out. What would you do to change the momentum? Where would you enter? Would you work on your potential? That's right. You got to believe. So how do you change your belief? The way you do it with athletes, because I worked with like the Warriors last year. I worked with the NHL champion Stanley Cup, Washington Capitals. You get results in advance. They visualize it, as simple as that sounds, but I'm going to show you. Can we pop over here?
Please, yeah.
Would you all stand up and I'll show you a quick technique.
Oh, we get a technique. We have to learn this right now. Hey, come on over here.
Over here?
Yeah.
Put your feet together straight ahead, and then bring your right index forward straight in front of you. And when I say now, I want you to turn clockwise comfortably, just as far as you naturally turn, okay? Keep your feet straight, go. Turn clockwise naturally. Everyone at home can do it too. Keep your feet straight. See where you end up? Come back around. Take your finger out of your neighbor's ear. Okay, now close your eyes. It's so simple. Even if you don't think you visualize, you can feel. So I want you to imagine your finger coming up, and imagine it so vividly it feels like it's coming up. Don't actually do it if you're at home or here, but imagine the finger comes up, and then imagine yourself turning twice as far. And it feels really good. See it, feel it. Open your eyes. Now, bring your finger straight, and now turn as far as you can comfortably and see where you go this time.
Oh, my goodness. Wow. Oh, my goodness.
Okay. So here's my question. How many of you went significantly further? How many went at least 25% further this time? Okay, go. So here's my quick question. Did you have the potential to turn that far the first time? The potential.
Potential, yes.
Yes. So why didn't you? Because you have beliefs even about how far you can turn, even though you're unaware of them. So you have beliefs about money, you have beliefs about relationship, you have beliefs about business, you have beliefs about your own beauty or strength. And so the way to change them, this is the simplest way I could show you in 2 minutes, is to condition your mind. Because once the mind is certain, the body will go there. Or once the mind is certain, the emotions will go there. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So Tony Robbins is really clear that the reason that we get imposter syndrome, the reason that we don't think that we are up to the job is because we have those beliefs that we are not. And by changing our mindset, we can change our performance. I did some coaching for someone who had got a new job. It was significantly more senior than the job that she'd been doing before. And she came to me and said, I just can't do it. I sit in meetings and I don't say anything. And because I don't want to be silly, I don't want to, ask the stupid question. So we did a lot of work around this mindset stuff. And when she came to me, she rated her confidence in her job at a 2 out of 10. And all we did was work on this stuff, that success cycle, the thinking, the mindset patterns. And after 6 weeks, she was then up to a 9 out of 10 in her confidence. And she was asking questions in meetings. She was answering questions in meetings, which was an even bigger deal. So if we can really dig into what are those beliefs that are stopping us, and how can we switch them, that imposter syndrome can feel much, much easier to manage and much smaller. So signs of imposter syndrome, like I say, going quiet in meetings or discussions around business and work, not wanting to voice your opinion because you don't want to look silly, not processing or retaining information because we're having this stress response that restricts blood flow, and it means that we don't remember or retain or understand information so easily because we're under that stress. We might hold back good ideas, or we might make excuses to other people or ourselves for not suggesting any ideas. And we don't like praise or celebrating achievements because we feel like we don't deserve it. The kind of warning signs that you might hear in your own self-talk are things like, what if my luck runs out? I haven't got here because of what I've done. I'm here because I'm lucky, or for some other reason I've managed to find myself in this fortunate position. Everybody else is better than me. Who do I think I am doing this? What if I get found out? And what if somebody realizes I'm not supposed to be here? We have a thing called negativity bias. Don't try and fight against it. It is there. It's an evolutionary technique that we have, and it's trying to keep you safe. But the more that we repeat those negatives, the stronger it gets. We feed it with the thoughts that we have that are all of those things that we're not good enough. There are 4 P's of imposter syndrome that you might see. So perfectionism. You try and do everything perfectly. When you do well, you're reinforced your imposter syndrome because you find reasons outside of yourself why you did so well. And if you did badly, it just proves to your imposter that you are actually not good enough. Perfectionism really, those people who are perfectionists perform worse or not at all. They don't even start because they don't want to do it imperfectly. Focus on setting a boundary for yourself if this is something that you struggle with. So I will complete this task in 20 minutes and it will be done however it is done in that 20 minutes. I will only read this thing back once, for example. So those are things that you can put in place if perfectionism is something that you struggle with. Procrastination is also can be a real sign of imposter syndrome. So I'll put it off because I don't know how to do it perfectly. The third P is project paralysis. So we get into this cycle of I don't know enough information, and so we research and research and research and never actually get started because we feel like we don't have enough information yet. And the fourth one is people pleasing. So having our own leaky boundaries because other people push up against them. So let's talk about how do we deal with that. In our minds, we have what's called a reticular activating system, or a RAS. If you've ever noticed that you've just bought a black Ford Fiesta and suddenly every car on the road happens to be a black Ford Fiesta, or you hear a song that you haven't heard for ages and then suddenly you hear it everywhere and you think, well, what is going on? Why am I hearing that song? That is your RAS. Your RAS will look for evidence of what you ask it for. So in my mind, it looks like a librarian. And RAS works on the understanding of what the thinker thinks the prover will prove. So if you ask it to look for a certain thing, it will look for those things, whether that's positive or negative. We are hardwired, remember, to look for negative. That keeps us safe. So remembering which berries are poisonous is far more valuable to us than remembering which berries are delicious. So we are primed to go for the negative stuff. It keeps us safe. It's why social media is so damaging for us, because all we pick up is the negative stuff, and it's quite bad for our mental health. But we do it internally as well. We only really pay attention to the stuff that we're feeding ourselves with that negativity bias in place. So how do we power up our RAS? How do we get our librarian to work for us and get rid of that imposter syndrome? So we need to start asking the right questions. We have a tendency to ask questions like, oh, why can't I do this? Why am I so useless? What did I do to deserve this? These questions, RAS will take away and find the answers. All kinds of examples that prove that you are right, that you are not good enough. That librarian will look for answers to prove that, right? That is RAS's job. We stay in rubbish jobs or unhealthy relationships. We put ourselves down because we're asking ourselves the wrong questions. So here's a little exercise. If you want to pause the video, that is this is a really good exercise to understand what questions we're asking. So have a think about going into a situation that really powers up your imposter. So going into a big meeting or having to give a presentation, whatever it is that makes you think, oh, what am I doing here? And visualize yourself in that space and start writing down all those things that you are asking yourself or telling yourself that is negative. I'm not good enough. What am I doing here? What if I make myself look silly? Write them all down on a piece of paper. You can visualize this, or you can do this in real time if you want to, if you've got something coming up. And then think about, how do you switch those dead end questions into power questions? So thinking about going into a big meeting and your imposter's coming out, you're thinking, oh, I don't know, what if I ask a stupid question? So write that down, and then on a separate sheet of paper on the other side of that piece of paper, write down your power question, which could be something like, what value do I bring to this meeting? What value can I get from this meeting? How can I answer a question in this meeting based on my own expertise? What that will do is that will switch RAS to start looking for opportunities for you to show and receive value in that situation, rather than just feeling terrified that you're going to be found out that you shouldn't be there in the first place. So when we hear that negative self-talk and that inner critic turning up, we can manage our own state in order to switch that around. First, we need to recognise it. Your inner critic loves to kind of lurk around in the shadowy corners of your mind and whispers things in the hope that you don't notice. So the first thing that we can do that's helpful is to shine a big fat spotlight on it and say, what did you say to me? So spend a few minutes, again, pause the video if that's helpful. Spend a few minutes thinking about the things that make you feel empowered. So what things make me feel really good and really confident? What are those things that help me get to that state of feeling really good about myself? It doesn't have to be in a work context. You can take inspiration from outside of work if that's useful. Then on the other side of the piece of paper, think about what makes you feel disempowered. What are those situations? people approaches that make you feel in that not good enough state. Once you've got those, you should have a better understanding of what puts you in that situation and what gets you out of it. So then think about what strategies and what techniques can I use to pull me out of the disempowered one into the empowered one. So, for example, if you know that going into a meeting with your CEO is something that makes you feel really disempowered and panicky and not good enough, but you know that speaking to a certain member of your team or your family makes you feel really good about yourself, then use that as your technique. I've got this meeting coming up in an hour with the CEO. I'm feeling really panicked about it. I'm going to schedule in a phone call or a Teams call or a sit down and a cup of tea with that person that makes me feel really great 15 minutes before my meeting. And so I'm going to draw on that empowerment that they give me, and I'm going to use that. I'm going to use my power questions. How can I pull all the things that they're saying into this conversation? And I'm going to go into that conversation with a very different mindset. So this is how we can change our state. We change our focus, our physiology, and our language. So when we're feeling that negative imposter syndrome going on state, change our focus. How do we do that? So things like gratitude journaling, writing down a list of achievements. If you're thinking, oh, I'm useless and I've never done anything great, sit down for 10 minutes and write down all the things that you've achieved. Again, it doesn't have to be work related. All you're doing is getting your brain out of that kind of habit of thinking negatively. Maybe vision board that you can put together and then bring it out when you need it. A motivational playlist. Music is so good for this. If you've got a song that just makes you feel really excited and really motivated and up for anything, play that. Have a motivational song playlist. You might have a mission statement. So you might think about, this is why I do this job, and you can remind yourself of that when you need to. Once you've changed your focus, change your physiology. So if you are sitting at your desk and you're feeling those negative emotions, that negative self-talk is coming in, try standing up. Just change your physical location, the way that you're standing or sitting. Try, get your motivational playlist on, have a little dance, or do some fist bumps above your head. Just do a couple of squats or some star jumps. Anything that changes your physiology bumps you out of that negative way of thinking. It interrupts that pattern. Things like stretches, do a bit of yoga, do a meditation, go for a little walk, get up and get a glass of water. Anything that changes your physiology can really just switch you out of that negative mindset. And lastly, changing our language. So this is the language that we use to talk to ourselves. So neutral affirmations, you'll hear all the time positive affirmations, but if you're feeling negative and somebody says to you, oh, just tell yourself you're going to have the best day ever, you won't believe it. And so Raz won't go looking for opportunities for the best day ever because you don't really believe that it's going to happen. So neutral affirmations are much more useful. So the way that we can do that is to write down, this is the belief that I'm having. So my belief is I'm not good enough. And then you, underneath that, you write, but the truth is I have all of the skills and experience that makes me useful in this job. So write down what the belief is, then think about your neutral statement. You're not saying I'm the best person for the job, or, you know, I am the best counselor or the best coach in the whole world, because you won't believe that. But you can say, but I've spent the last 10 years training for this role. So neutral affirmation is really useful in our language. You also can give your little inner critic a personality. This really works for some people, and other people absolutely hate it. But give it a name, character, move it around. So, you know, if it's kind of, if you're hearing it right up here, right next to your ears, you can move it down, put it in a pocket, put it into your shoe, I worked with a client who had her little character who was her sort of negative inner critic, and when she really heard him talking, she would shrink him down, move him into her toe, and then put a pair of shoes on so she couldn't hear him anymore. And that really worked for her. It sounds bizarre, but it can really work if visualization is something that works well for you. Or you can imagine it as a big speaker of what they're saying, and you can shrink the speaker down, or you can turn the dial and turn the volume down. You can just move it away from your ears or your heart, wherever you hear it loudest. But these are all the things that can really start us moving into a more positive mindset and away from that imposter syndrome. There's some really useful resources that I use a lot in this area. Claire Josser is an expert on imposter syndrome. She's fantastic. She's got a great podcast, and her website clairejosser.com/pause is a really great resource on how to stop negative thinking in 60 seconds, I think it's called. But her whole website is just packed with resources. If you want to see what else I've got available, you can check my website out at balancefulfillment.com. And I really hope you found that useful. And I'm hoping that you can put some of the techniques into practice and start feeling more confident and know that you're great at what you do, and that you absolutely 100% deserve to be there. So thank you for joining me.